How's it going, product people? My name's Sierra from Product Plan, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite prioritization models, the MoSCoW method. We're going to talk about what the MoSCoW method is, when to use it, and how to use it. All right, let's tackle this topic. But before we dive in, I have linked some great resources in this page for you. I highly recommend that you go take a look after the video. Now let's get started. MoSCoW prioritization is a popular prioritization technique for managing requirements. The method is used to help key stakeholders understand initiatives in a specific release. MoSCoW is an acronym that stands for 4 categories of initiatives: must-haves, should-haves, could-haves, and will not have at this time. Sometimes the W stands for wish instead of will not have right now. We'll get into those 4 categories later, but now let's take a step back and look at the history and purpose behind this technique. Software development expert Dai Clegg invented the MoSCoW method back when he was working at Oracle. He initially designed the MoSCoW method to represent initiatives within releases. Today, it's interpreted in several different ways. Before you start to run a MoSCoW analysis, there are a few things that need to happen. First, align your key stakeholders with your product team on objectives and prioritization factors. Then you all need to agree on which initiatives to prioritize. And finally, you'll want to decide on resource allocation for each category. It's important that your team decides exactly how you're going to settle any prioritization disagreements. If you decide on this before you start prioritizing, then you can prevent anything from holding up your progress. Now let's break down those 4 categories even further. First, we'll review the must-have initiatives. Must-haves are non-negotiable needs for your product, project, or release. If you're unsure whether an item belongs in this category, ask yourself these 3 questions. What will happen if this initiative is not included in this specific release? Is there a more simple way to accomplish this? And will the product work without this item? If the product won't work without this initiative, or the release becomes useless without it, it's probably a must-have. Should-have initiatives are important to the product, project, or release, but they aren't vital. For example, this could be performance improvements, minor bug fixes, or new functionality. Think about it like this. They aren't necessary for the product to function, but they do add significant value. Could-have initiatives are not necessary to the core function of the product. They have a much smaller impact if they're left out. One of the great things about the MoSCoW prioritization method is the will not have category. This allows you to manage expectations of what will be and will not be included within each specific release. MoSCoW is a great prioritization method for teams who want to involve departments from across the organization. It allows you to build consensus and gain a broader perspective around what's really important. Your team is empowered to determine how much effort goes into each category. That way you can make sure that you're delivering solid initiatives within each release. All right, thank you so much for joining us today and for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.